Hello, this is Yaro Starak, and welcome to the Entrepreneur's Journey podcast. Today's guest is Leonie Dawson. Hello, this is Yaro Starak, and welcome to an Entrepreneur's Journey interview, which I have to say, this is possibly the most exciting interview I've done in a while. For so many reasons, but I don't know what the number one reason is. Maybe it's because I have a fellow Australian on the line, although I don't sound Australian, but you hear our guest, Leonie, she definitely sounds Australian. So first of all, Leonie Dawson, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks so much. And yeah, there's no way that I can cover up this accent of mine. It's very, what I like to call small town, regional, like Northern Australian accent.
Right. I'm assuming that's where you were born, right?
Yeah, I was born in a little town, little country town in northern Queensland.
Okay, well, I was born in Brisbane, so a slightly larger country town in Queensland.
Yes.
Not by much, but...
Well, no, you guys are like the big smoke, man. Like, yeah. You guys are the big smoke. You're so cosmopolitan.
Exactly. I think I had a Kath and Kim moment there.
It strays into that territory so easily. It's almost like I can parody myself.
Yeah, I'm sure you do probably many times. But in case you're wondering, Leonie Dawson runs an online business that's now doing over $1 million a year. And why I wanted to get Leonie on, besides talking about how she does that, Leonie has one of the best, I don't know how to say this, the strongest sense of, I don't want to call it a personal brand, even though it is a personal brand, but it's this personalization to the way she communicates, how she presents her media, because you use a lot of artwork, which I know you do yourself, right, with a lot of your emails, your blog itself, even your sales pages I look at and go, this is like a drawing. And that I find particularly special, and I'm sure it's a key component in the success you've had, but also that's a reflection of Leonie's personality, which we will hear comes through. And I think that's all been a big part of why you built such a large following and have a successful business. Is that a good summary?
I think so. I'm kind of really blushing. Like, for everyone listening, like, I was just telling Yaro that when I got the interview request from Yaro, like, I had to do Eye of the Tiger, which is my victory song, and I was dancing around the room, and I was on a call with all my team members, and then so we were all like, whoa, super excited, and then I had to like lay down on the floor and emotionally process it because I was so happy. So obviously I get overstimulated like really easy, so like even the idea that you know who I am is like blowing my mind.
Well, I'll speak with the monotone tone of voice to keep you in control.
Cheers, yeah. As least excitement as possible. Yeah, so I have to lay down on the floor and process
I'll be the anchor to keep you controlled here. Well, I actually I'm curious because Leonie's you've done online business for as long as I've done online business. So I don't remember when I first got in touch with you, but I know I was recently, when I say recently, within the last 3 years, requested by one of my interview club members actually to get you on the show, and that was when I really had a good dig into your work and basically because I was curious about your sales funnel. Actually, I wanted to see what products you were selling and how you were selling them, and I kind of maybe initially lumped you into that sort of very popular at the moment Marie Forleo women teaching women how to do business box. But as I continued to, I guess, consume, and obviously was on your email list, I really felt that there's something different about the way you presented yourself online. You're definitely not holding back with your personality. And maybe it's just because your personality is the way it is, Leonie. I don't know. But it definitely came through as a distinct point of difference to every other woman teaching women how to do business.
Well, yeah, basically. Plus, like, I always laugh when people go, you're just like, you're a B-School. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I didn't even know who Marie Forleo was like nearly 11 years ago when I started blogging.
Right.
It's just, like there's so many great teachers out there, and I love learning from all of them, and everyone's got their own point. But, I just can't deal with the idea of teaching people what I know in a really bland way. Like, that would just fucking bore me to tears, truth be told. And, I'm not really motivated by money. It doesn't excite me. Like, I do not, like, get a boner over money. And so I really have, like, I just want something that's creative and spiritual. That's like my dream job. And so wherever I can weave all of that into the digital world, that makes me super happy. And, you know, I basically started out doing self-help stuff. I ran, you know, spiritual and creativity e-courses and that sort of stuff. And it was only after I hit 6 figures that people started saying, oh, look, can you then teach us hippies, like, how to, like, create business? So, you know, like, I really am pretty niche. Like, I prefer just to teach people who are hippies or who get that this is a rainbow unicorn ride. Like, this is, yes, there's glitter involved. Like, I'm not going to be apologetic about that.
No, and I think that's what's so unique about your work. There's a lot of, as you said, rainbows and unicorns, which will turn off a bunch of people. But definitely. It will certainly gravitate, like pull a lot of other people who love that style. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'd love to go back to that early days. So 11 years as a blogger. Even before that, what were you doing?
Sure. So, you know, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be either an artist or a writer or somebody who changed the world. Like, that was kind of my thing very early on. And, you know, my parents would always say, you know, like, artists don't make money and it's, you know, that's not going to work. You could be a starving artist. You're going to have to get yourself an office job. And I kind of believed that, you know, I opted into it. And I remember, like, reading through, like, the careers book at high school and trying to find a job that would be, like, the perfect fit for this kind of, like, Leonie embodiment of cells. Couldn't find anything. And it was, so I sort of went on this sort of spirally journey looking for my right fit in the world. So I studied at 3 different universities and I ended up in Canberra. And I worked in Joe Hockey's office, funnily enough. He's a major wanker in person, as is on TV.
That's an Australian politician for the overseas listeners, by the way.
And he also happens to be a major wanker. It was, you know, like, I was kind of submitted to the path, oh, well, you know, I just have to work. I'm really sorry if you can hear storms at the moment as well. Sorry. I live in far north Queensland. It's cyclone season. This is what happens.
Oh, that's all right. I hope it comes down here. It's too hot at the moment. So.
Yeah. Yes. So I was kind of just trying to find my path, and my path was just to keep playing until I found it. And when I was 21, you know, for me, it felt like the longest time searching for what I wanted to do. But, you know, 21 is still quite young. And when I was 21, I found a sacred women's circle that I really resonated with. And after that, I started, you know, going on to teach other women about this work because I just felt like it was so, so important. So I started running retreats in person and like creative goddess workshops and that sort of stuff.
Was that online to start with, at least for the marketing of it?
No, not at all, really. Like, I went into it totally obtuse, just with that real heart desire of wanting to create something, and it was just through my personal network and that people were finding out about me. And I started blogging just because it was like getting to share your diary with the world. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of like an open book. Like, I'm definitely an oversharer.
Yep.
And I'm always constantly going, oh, that's right. Like, people have to have boundaries about what they talk about. Shit. Like, I just try and remember that, Leonie. And
just to put this in the context, that blog, what year was that started?
Oh God, I think it was 2004, August 2004.
Wow, I started my first version of a blog in, I think, September of 2004. You beat me by 1 month, Leonie.
That is so funny. And yeah, it just felt like everything was so ripe. And I look back on those days and I kind of miss them because it felt like the wild, wild west of the internet. Like, it felt like nobody was inhabiting it. And if you were actually talking on there, it was like a really unique thing. And now, like, everybody fucking talks on there, of course. But
yes, we're not unicorns anymore, huh?
Yeah, totally. It just felt like this new territory. And I was just blogging because the sheer love of writing and sharing artwork was so exciting. And then people started asking me, if I could buy my shit. And I was like, what? You're kidding me, right? Like, you want to buy something? That was like the funnest thing I've ever made in my life.
Now, when you say you're I'm going to say stuff.
Sure.
I can't swear. Did you have a range of products, or were they just saying, listen, we love what you're writing on this blog? Do you have a course we can take, or do you have physical products we can buy? Like, what were they actually wanting from you?
Oh, sure. So I was painting and sharing like the illustrations and artwork I was doing. And so they wanted to buy the like original artworks and prints, and they wanted to commission their own kinds of artwork.
Wow.
Like all my ideas came from them, basically. They were like, we want this, we want this, we want this. And I was like, all right, oh my fucking God, okay. And then I started sharing about the retreats and the workshops that I was doing, and everyone on my blog was like, fuck, like I live in Canada, I really want to do this course with you, but I can't because I don't live where you live. And so I thought, oh, okay. And that's when I started doing online programs because people were asking for them. And, yeah, I thought maybe 10 people would sign up, and I think we got over 150 for the first round, which was huge because that was the size of my mailing list.
Okay. Got to ask two questions here. First of all,
sure.
Where were these people coming from? Because it sounds like you've got rabid potential buyers ready to go. And obviously today that doesn't really happen by chance anymore, does it? You can't really start a blog and put your artwork up there and you've got this magic following instantly. I think we both agree that 2004, 2005 was a bit of a different environment, so you could just start publishing and potentially build an audience. But did you do anything to grow what you were doing then in terms of just building traffic?
It was totally unstrategic of me, but what worked for me was, I was a part of a lot of forums at that point, like BB Press kind of forums, like before the days of Facebook. They were just really cool bunches of women. And so I would turn up and I would share my story and I would just be full ball Leonie like every day. And it wasn't, I think this is the thing, if you're being strategic about it, it becomes really draining. But if it's a real joy, then it's like the thing that you just love doing that you want to do. So I was forming all these really super close connections in forums that 10 years on, I still have people from my forums who have bought things ever since then and who are still parts of my membership program who, hilariously enough, one of them's even dating my dad now. That's right. So, the internet's fucking awesome. Like, all of my closest friends, the person who's dating my dad, all of them come from these forums from 10, 11 years ago. Like, it's so awesome. You can totally form these connections with people.
Okay, so they became your blog readers. Did you have an email list at that point either? Did you learn about that, or were you still just blogging?
Oh, I was still just blogging. I didn't learn about email marketing really. Probably for 4 years. I was just blogging and just promoting through those things, through those realms. And so my mailing list was so shithouse. I think back and go, oh my God, I could have got so many emails from that.
Okay. So the other question then was, this product, you had, I'm assuming, there's no information about how to create an online course that you followed back then, right? So what did you do? How did you create a course and how did you deliver it?
Sure. Well, one thing that I definitely was and still very much am is an over provider. So they got a 6-week e-course, and for each week of that e-course, they would get a 30-minute video, which I did on my webcam out in my garden. I think there was no editing involved because I wasn't at that level yet. So it was just me rambling, and it's very cute. I call it vintage Leonie. And my dog was in it. It was super adorable, but super lo-fi, let's call it that. And then I would create a 30-minute meditation MP3 each week as well. And my husband's an audio engineer, so he would master it for me. And I would create an accompanying ebook and worksheets, and I would hand illustrate them. So every night before the course was ready to be sent out, I would be up until midnight, like with my hand in a claw, like handwriting and painting and illustrating the e-course notes for each week.
And that's what you still do today, don't you? Because all your newsletters have hand drawings, I'm assuming. And
Totally. They were like fully handwritten, so there was like no typing. I include some type in my stuff now, but it was really cute, kitschy, handwritten.
So you digitized that? So you scanned it and then emailed it, or did you have a protected area on your blog? Because you didn't have an email list, so how did you give people this content?
Oh, so I collected all of their emails in a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And I continued to do this spreadsheet action until I started getting hit as a spammer by Gmail, and they'd keep locking me out of my accounts.
Okay.
And so what I was going to do is like just keep on opening new accounts, which is what I did.
Wow.
I know. And then somebody told me about like Aweber, and I was like, oh my God, like why? Like why have I done this all by myself? So it was very, very naive of me. It was all super handmade. Every time somebody emailed the product, I'd email them back. There was no automation happening there whatsoever.
How did you get paid? It's cash in the mail, isn't it?
No, I actually did work out how to set up a PayPal account. So, bing, like that's a bonus point for Leonie.
There you go. You were somewhat advanced. Okay, so take us forward. Then you're doing this. You're writing the blog. You're selling your first course. I'm assuming by now you've gone, this is my job. This is my full-time income source, right?
No. I'm super. It was generating money, but I'm super
conservative.
I'm really debt adverse.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure that I was. Oh,
whoa!
God, that was loud. Hello, Thunder Gods. So I really wanted to make sure I was earning like above and beyond before I gave up my, very cushy public service job.
Right.
So I remember like there was definitely a certain point for me where, I think I was earning, I can't even remember. So, I was doing maybe 15, 20 a year, and it was, still hobbyish. Oh, God, Thunder Gods, I swear to God, I haven't angered you. Like, we are friends. So I took myself for a walk, and I was like, right, okay, in the next year, in order to quit my job, I want to earn 30 grand, and, it has to be like that or above in order for me to even think about quitting my job. In the meantime, like this is remaining a, part-time thing for me.
Right.
And I remember like coming back and looking at all the figures and thinking there's no fucking way I can work out how to grow this bigger and scale this and know how to build a business. Like it felt totally foreign to me. And that's the point I thought, well, there's other people out there in the world doing it. So there's just got to be something that I need to learn, and I was like really numbers phobic hippie, just creative artist, like, woo, very whimsical. And I thought, fuck it, I've just got to give myself a business and marketing education because that's the thing that's lacking. That's the thing I haven't like built my muscles up at all. And they're like totally flaccid,
So how did you build that muscle up? What was the first step?
Oh my God, the Sky Gods are so
I've never done a podcast with lightning and thunder in the background. This is quite unique, but let's roll with it. So
yeah, word. Okay. It's just like really good folio, like super sound effects.
Yeah. It's an action movie podcast.
It is. So I started reading business books and marketing magazines, and I remember buying my first online course. Oh, God, it must have been 2008, I think, and it was from Naomi Dunford, and it was $99. And I, at that point, thought $99 was like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm spending $99 on an information product on the internet. Like, that was, like, it was sheer terror for me. And I bought it, and I implemented everything, and sure enough, I hit 30 grand that year. And every single year since then, I've doubled or tripled my income each year.
Wow. Okay. So from 30 to 60 to 90, over six figures, and then now you're doing over $1 million a year as we record this. So I'd love to maybe bring this current. So it sounds like, to bring us up to date, you continue to do what you were doing. Were there any sort of significant, I guess, tipping points that broke? Because obviously there was with Naomi for getting you up to 30. Was there something that took you to six figures you can think of, or was it just a case of adding more people, reaching more people? Did you maybe release a certain product that made a difference? Like what are the highlights of the from 30,000 a year to over $1 million a year? What are the highlights along that journey?
I've just read Good to Great by Jim Collins, which I fucking loved. Oh my God, by the way, he is coming to Melbourne in March, and I am so there to see him. I'm going to fangirl all over him. Like, he's just going to have this hippie like, oh my God.
I don't think he'll know what's coming then, does he?
I know, right? Bless him. He's going to be so lucky. Anyway, I love what he says about the flywheel, in that it's not about these certain pushes that make everything expand. It's the daily pushing of this big wheel, and it creates momentum. And for me, the daily pushing has been to educate myself, to always learn new things. And then secondly, and I think this is really important, is to implement them. Like, if you just keep on reading fucking books and buying information products and doing nothing with them, then guess what? Nothing's going to happen. Like, you need to put your wheels on the ground and start turning it and get some momentum happening by implementing it and seeing what works for you and what works for your tribe and your business, and then taking note and going, oh, okay, well, that worked last time. Let's, create it again and see if we can do even better. Another one is, I still work part-time hours. I've got little kids, and my priority in life isn't work. I love what I do, but it's still, I do it in about 15 to 20 hours a week because, kids.
What do you do in that 15 to 20 hours a week? What's like a day in the life of Leonie right now?
Sure. So each morning I always spend with my family. So I've got a baby and a 4-year-old and my really, really super hot husband. I just feel like I need to put that in there.
Good.
We'll just clarify. Is Leonie's husband hot? Yes. And then in the afternoons from 1 to 5, I go into my office and do my work. So, for me, I've worked out exactly what builds my business and what are the things that I really need to do. And so I turn up to work and I say, okay, what is it I need to do today to drive my business forward? And just fucking do it. And this is the thing, you just can't stay too much in your own head and wonder. You just have to fucking do it and see the results of it, because momentum breeds momentum. And when you get in the habit of pressing publish, when you get in the habit of consistently getting programs and projects created and gone through and then completed and pushed out into the world, it's so thrilling. So I really love to get as much stuff completed as I can. So for me, the really strong areas in my business that I can only do at this point is one is manage a really great team. So, I try and hire people who are super passionate and have great attention to detail. And I have to fire those people who don't fill out that mold, because otherwise they're just going to take up way too much of my time. And I just fucking hate it. I'm like, I want to quit my job just to get away from these people. Oh, maybe that's a sign I need to fire them. And of course it sucks to fire someone. It's like, I will never ever say it's fun, because it really sucks. But still, I think it's really important to have a good team. And then I create all of the content, all of the blog posts and social media updates and content for new courses and programs, and constantly come out with new ideas. And what else do I do? I don't really know.
Do you do any coaching? Are you doing private coaching, or is it all online courses?
No. I don't do any private coaching anymore. And I love that other people are offering it because, it's so needed in the world. But, I'm definitely not, I don't have that model of kind of like smaller priced products and then up to like hugely priced coaching programs. That's not my style. And, there's lots of reasons for that. But number one is time. I hate telling one person something and then having to tell like the next person that same thing. I'm not a good explainer. I would rather create a product that goes on to help 1,000 people instead of just like one-on-one helping somebody.
So how many products do you have right now?
Each year I produce a goals workbook. So this year it's 2015 Create Your Shining Year in Life workbook and the 2015 Create Your Shining Year in Business workbook. And we just became a publishing company in the last year to print them ourselves and have mailing houses in 3 different countries and selling to 73 different countries. And so that's been really fun and really full on. And the rest of my programs, I don't even know how many I've got. Would have to be maybe 10 or 20, or probably more. And so there's like heaps of creativity and spirituality courses and meditations and business programs. And instead of like having those available individually, they're all packaged up. So like people pay one fee to my academy and they get everything like instant, and so they can just use it all to their heart's pleasure. So I think we've got like $3,500 worth of product, and people can buy it for like $500, under $500. That works really well for me because it means I don't have to promote as much because I just like creating, and so for me it just makes more sense to have kind of at the lower price option for people to go, oh my God, no duh, like of course I'll fucking buy that because it's like the best investment ever, then have to like really be nailing people, telling them you should be buying this and, getting them to sign up at higher prices because I can't be fucked and I'd rather be painting.
Gotcha. But it takes a while to build up all that product. So it's a totally long-term goal. I'm curious though, in terms of if you don't do a lot of promotions, you still must be finding customers somehow. So are they just kind of finding your blog content and then joining your newsletter, and you send out your newsletter pretty frequently? I'm on it and I get it, I think once or twice a week usually. And then, cause while you have been promoting, for example, your workbook at the start of this year, I haven't really seen much proactive promotion. You sort of just release your content. So do you find people just read your content and then find your products? Like they go click the button for the academy and then look into that and then join? Is that?
So truth be told, I've done a really shithouse launch this year. Thank you very much for picking that up.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have no idea how many customers you got from that.
Well,
so
we still hit the numbers and it's still like super profitable and all that sort of stuff. But I have not gone hard guns on like sales letters for it. I definitely wish. I definitely was wanting to, but we're kind of at the point where we're nearly sold out of our printed books anyway. So it sort of was like, do we really want to nail a list when we've basically sold out?
Yeah, right. No. But I mean, in general, because that's kind of like a one-time promotion you do at the beginning of the year, but you obviously make sales outside of this promotion as well, right?
Totally. So yes, I will have like promo periods where I will send sales letters. But yeah, it probably is a pretty lax way of selling. So I just, basically I'm always on Facebook. We've got updates going out all the time to, I don't know how many people on my Facebook, 50,000, 40 something. I don't know. Who cares? It's growing, and that's the important thing. And, always send out weekly blog content to our mailing list, which is at 60,000. And yeah, people just get the picture, like if you want to dive deeper into the work, here's how you do it. And it works. It works for us. I'm sure we could nail people more, but I just can't really be bothered at this point.
Oh, no, you're doing 7 figures a year. Why? Nothing to complain about. So I'm just curious for like the listener who, this is a model I think a lot of people would love to follow, to sort of be yourself and everyone loves you kind of, and you build a massive audience and they start buying your stuff, which is usually the hard part, getting people to buy and getting enough of an audience to make a full-time income from it. So not that I want to, belittle what you've done, but you almost make it sound too easy. Like it's just be Leonie and people find you and love you and buy your stuff, which is not always the case though for everyone.
Well, true. And I think too, I'm a pretty optimistic kind of person. I'm like, duh, of course it's easy. And my husband's always saying, like, don't forget to tell people, you've been fucking blogging for 11 years. And, I only blog once a week now, but for a long time now, I was blogging every day. And so this is a lot of nights, that when I was working, I was spending a lot of time blogging and creating connections and all that sort of stuff. There's been a lot of fucking hours put into this, and it is momentum. Yes, I'm only working 15 to 20 hours now, but I have so many systems set up in place, and it is just momentum builds momentum. I'm always producing new stuff. I'm always sharing it. As much as I am not, always geared to be super strategic, I'm definitely always learning new things and trying new things and, trying out new stuff on squeeze pages and, trying out, okay, if I do this kind of teleseminar, what's the drawback to my list from that, and making decisions off that. So, of course, like, as much as I'm a big fucking creative hippie, I'm constantly making decisions. Okay, what will drive the company forward? What is going to grow it in the biggest way? How can I protect my energy in the meantime? Because I know that it's my energy that is a real driver for this company. It's definitely still analytical decisions being made every single fucking day. And, when I'm feeling really like, oh, I don't really feel like doing anything today, sometimes, like, I'm just kicking myself up the ass going, well, fucking do it. Like, get accountable, do it. So I'll go to my mastermind or I'll talk to my accountability buddy. I'll give them a list of the things that I need to get done that day, and I'll go through and nail it, because I'm definitely one of those people who likes to perform and likes to perform publicly. And if that means that productivity needs to be a performance art, then so fucking be it. But my loyalty is always to, one, the company, but most of all to sharing what I know with as many people who need it. Because I know there's lots of people out there who are fucking suffering or who want to know the things that are inside my brain. And so it's my duty to go out and try and find them. So that's how I kind of look at marketing. There's definitely shit happening. It's definitely, happening. But of course, it's pretty joyful for me.
It sounds like you've positioned it where you are predominantly the content creator and get to do the main thing you enjoy, which is, it sounds like the artwork combined with the sort of sharing of your ideas. That is what you enjoy. I'd love to just take a look at how you managed to do that, in particular with who you hired, because like yourself, I mean, I don't love, for example, creating long sales pages. Now you've got some doozies there,
fuck yeah.
and full of artwork. So I know you haven't outsourced the artwork part of this, but are those sales pages? Do you have a copywriter on your team? Do you have? Maybe you can break down who does your copy, but also who's on your team and what they do.
Sure. So basically, for me, I believe that copywriting and sales pages and sales writing and email sales letters, I believe like that's something that every person in an online business needs to invest in their own education for and to try it out and get really good at it, because that's the gold in the business. So all copy is mine. And I definitely have spent a lot of time reading books that I feel like are going completely over my fucking head. But parts of it sink in. Even if it's only like 10% sinks in, great. We'll just try that in the mix and see how it converts. I'm not at the point where I'm like A/B split testing pages, because at this point it's too much for my brain to wrap around yet. But when I do, I'm going to be a fucking brilliant guru at it.
Yep.
But yes, the copy is all mine, and I really do love long sales pages because I am not the most, I'm just not efficient with words. There's a lot of things that I want to say.
Right. So you're not long for the hope of trying to convert more, even though obviously that's a goal too, but you just want to say everything you want to say.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shit to say about my products. And, I definitely include lots of testimonials. And I want to show what the value is of the product. And, I try and make it easy for people. So when you're scrolling through, like, the great tomes, I think one of my VAs looked at it and she was like, oh, my God, it takes 90 scrolls to get to the bottom of this sales page. And I'm like, woo!
You don't get a prize for that, but maybe you should, right? So, what about your team? Who else is there? So there's no copywriter. That's Leonie.
Yeah, that's moi. And I have 2 VAs and 1 tech person.
Wow, you're lean. You're about as lean as me. So the tech person, I imagine the VA is customer service, administration sort of tasks. With the tech person, are they, because I know you're using Infusionsoft now, so you moved away from Aweber, right? So are they kind of doing all of that for you?
Totally. So we hire a team. We contract to a team. It's Animus Web, and we just fucking love them to bits. They're the best bunch of blokes to work with ever. Oh my God! This is how much they go above and beyond. We had major issues with our US mailing house for our workbooks, and basically this crazy lady in the US was holding our books hostage. And we couldn't, it was like the middle of our launch, and we had so many, people wanting to know where their books were, and we're like, oh my God, we need to get them out of this crazy mailing house, and we need to get them to somewhere more efficient. But because of the whole Christmas breakdown, we couldn't do it in the time that we needed to do it in order to, make it up to our customers, because that's the most important thing in the world. And one of the tech guys from that company, they took a road trip across America. No fucking shit. They got a huge truck and they drove from the East Coast of America over to the West Coast for us, picked up the books along the way and took them to Las Vegas to take them to they drove during the night through terrible snow conditions, and they just went above and beyond, and the sweetest things ever. I can't even imagine, can you imagine a tech company doing that for you?
No, that's incredible.
That's just ridiculous. I know. So,
what's their address again? Just spell it out clearly.
Yeah, sure. It's ANIMAS web.com.
Okay, wow. That's not what I'd call a tech person's job either. I was thinking coding in little HTML, design, not driving a truck.
I know, right? So, bless them. I just can't even speak highly enough of them. And that's the kind of people that you want on your team, people that will just do what it fucking takes in order to create an amazing outcome for you and for your customers, because they're the really important ones here. Okay,
so tech, virtual assistants, Leonie on copy and creative. Pretty lean, not, and that's amazing. You're obviously getting high leverage to get the kind of numbers you've got. So It sounds like, in my opinion, personal opinion, the ideal situation, because you haven't overcomplicated it with lots of people. You get to express yourself through your creativity and your ideas, and people love what you're doing and want to buy it, and you make money. Yes, you work hard in all the content you produce and being on social media, but that's what you enjoy doing, like you said, so you want to keep doing it. Can we, for the last few 10, 20 minutes here, turn the attention to the listener who is the newbie, who doesn't have 10 years worth of blog content, keep bringing them an audience, doesn't have tons of product available to sell in this amazing package, isn't an artist either, potentially, because that's an advantage you have. What do you tell the newbies nowadays who are just getting started, if, like yourself, though, they do want to make maybe, let's say, 6 figures at least, selling whatever their creative output is using online business? How do you guide people?
So one, I just want to say, even though it's, me and Yaro were born in the wild, wild west, the internet days, holy shit, this is still Newfoundland territory. Don't be all oh, well, 1% is occupied. Looks like I missed my train. It's why bother getting in? Fuck that. Bad attitude, man. There is so much possibility and so much more potential. And I think it's even more exciting nowadays, because now, more people are using the internet and getting more comfortable with buying shit off the internet, and is starting to get somewhat of a clue, because back in 2004, you'd try and create an online program, and we'd get people like going, well, when is my binder turning up in the mail? And you're like, no, dude, like when I say PDF, like that's a digital download. Whereas now people sort of have a clue about that, which is really nice. So there's still 100% potential and possibility out there. Two, I think it's so important for you to know exactly what it is that you want to create and just fucking do it your way. Like, don't try and do it any other way. Like the whole Marie Forleo, I mean, woman is a bomb at the things that she's doing. She's amazing. But I see so many sites that are like really trying to be Marie-ish, and like it puts me to fucking sleep all the time. Like, Marie's doing Marie, you do you, and you do it in the way that you want to do it because the world fucking needs that. Like, I'm a giant hippie, and so I so believe that like everybody has their own voice and everybody has their own quirks and interesting bits about them, and we've just got to be honest about them because that's where the joy is in life. Like, don't try and fit in, just stand out, just be you, and then the people who are like you will go, oh my God, thank God I can learn from this person who speaks my language, because there's hundreds of people that are talking business and marketing out there. And the things that I hear most from my people is, oh, thank God I found you, because I didn't understand what any of them was saying, but at least you speak in unicorn language. At least you make me giggle while we have to learn this boring shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's the spirit. So just do it in the way that you want to do it. And then keep on stepping up every single day and asking yourself, okay, what is it I need to do today to build my business? What do I need to do to grow it? And if you limit your hours in your business, that's fucking great, because I totally believe that I get more done in my short work day than what most people do in their full day, because they're like, oh, okay, well, I've got 8 hours ahead of me. And they plod along like a horse, whereas I kind of run in like a racehorse, like, right, okay, I've only got a certain amount of hours before my kids start screaming for me. So, there's a real push there, and plus I've got a lot of energy from having a life. Like, everyone should have a life. It's really important to have a life and not let online business become your life, because that's fucking boring, man. Like, it's fun, but have some balance.
In terms of a practical first step, do you still advocate start a blog, create a digital product, build an email list? Is that the basic formula you recommend?
Totally. So a lot of people create like their Facebook page and start their business off their Facebook page. Like, sure, go ahead, do that if you want, but know that Facebook can fuck you up at a moment's notice. And you are not building a real sustainable business for yourself. You're not. Like, if you're just doing it that way, that is not a sustainable business that's going to easily take you up to 6 or 7 figures. You definitely still need to be creating your own website, owning your own domain, creating your own world, creating your own mailing list. Email is always going to be around. Email is always going to convert better than Facebook, because it's like playing in a casino. Like, you might, and this is in reference to Facebook, you might think, well, if I gamble a little bit, I'm sure I'll win. But you're like, no, the whole point of a casino is you're walking in to make them money. Like, that's the point of it. They're the ones making money. And that's the same thing with Facebook. You're entering into Facebook's territory, and they're always the ones that can be making money. And, of course, it is a massively awesome marketing tool, but don't forget the MySpace rule. There's a lot of people out there who built up massive fan bases on MySpace, and guess what? They don't mean shit anymore. So you totally still need to have everything pointing back to your website. As far as like digital product, who fucking knows? Like, if you want to create a digital product, or if you want to create a printed product, or if you want to do everything live, who cares? If you want to sell shit, great. There's so many ways that you can make your money. But you have to apply yourself to business. You have to apply yourself to marketing. You have to apply yourself to copy and testing and seeing what works and being and, really understanding who your people are. It's fucking gold.
Okay. I'm definitely going to have to put the swearing warning on this podcast interview.
Yeah, that's probably super important. Hey, I ended up having to speak at a business women's club here in lovely far northern Queensland Cairns, and they asked me beforehand. They said, "Please, can you not swear for this?" And because they'd had complaints from people who swore a lot before, and I was like, "Fine." But I totally managed to say vagina twice and boobs once, and I just felt like that was still really important. Like, I just little high five for myself. Like, yeah,
I'm not sure if there's swear words, but if as long as it makes you feel happy about your work.
It did make me feel really happy. Plus, I tried to do it like while I was staring at a guy, just so that he would be like, "Oh God, she's staring at me when she says vagina. Oh no, the hippie, get me away from the hippie." So it was great. I did just a bit of, I love doing a bit of TMI. That's when I feel most alive in the world.
Mm. Okay, so
moving on.
I'd like to get your website address out too, because we have mentioned that you have huge sales pages, and you don't even know how many products you've got available for sale or inside your academy, so people can check that out. So is it LeonieDawson.com is the best entry point for you?
Yeah, that's correct. So Leonie is Leonie, Dawson, DAWSON.com.
Okay, so going forward for you, Leonie, what is the goal? Sort of just keep building what you're doing, or is there something significant new on the horizon for you? What's up next?
So next week we're moving across the country. We like to do crazy things, so we're moving out to Tasmania. And I feel like it's going to be really, really fun, because I feel like I've been a hermit in the mountains, in the village, hippie, like in this very small little village up in the mountains. And so I feel like I've just been hiding out here for a couple of years. And I feel like I'm going down to civilization again. And I know I'm going to Tasmania, which, would make a lot of people laugh, going, Tasmania, civilization. And I'm like, man, it has got big W, and that really excites me because it's been an hour's drive for us. So I feel like I'm going to be out in the world again, and I'm going to go see Jimbo Collins and make him feel really uncomfortable at the Growth Summit. And I just feel like I'm going to go out into the world and meet other people this year, because I feel like I've been become the biggest goldfish in my little fishbowl, if that makes sense. Mm. And so I need to go get my mind blown by people who are totally kicking my ass and who are $1 million a year. Oh yes, back in the day, I remember when, and they're doing 50 million, 100 million, $1 billion. I want to be around those kind of people so I can extend my mindset. I also want to. We're just about finished raising, we've nearly got enough money together to build a school in a third world country through Pencils of Promise. So I'm oh yeah, philanthropy is kind of really massive for me. I want to be the next Bill Gates, but with way hotter and way more liable to talk about vaginas, because I don't think Bilbo goes that way, but whatever, it's fine. I would love and accept him if he did. And I just want to see people live, because I feel like I've been hidden away, and I just want to uncomfortably hug people for an awkwardly long amount of time and giggle raucously and be very, very naughty at live events. So wherever I can do that, that would be so awesome. And I'll probably still, I will still keep growing this business, because why not?
Well, the live events are in for a shock, I think, this year coming up, Leonie. lots of uncomfortable hugs. I do love the fact that you've done as well as you have being a hermit, though. You have lived in the mountains for most of the time. You've grown a 7-figure business.
Exactly.
No supermarket even nearby. That's a testament to how the internet can be used no matter where you are. And yeah, great example.
Totally. And I mean, I've never even been to a business conference. I've never even been to a business workshop. People are like, oh, do you know this person, this person? I'm like, no. I haven't even been outside this fucking hermit village.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of interviews about you either. I don't know if you've appeared on many podcasts in the business world before.
No, I haven't. So I still feel like this hippie that's kind of accidentally ended up at the business party and oh, hey guys.
Yep.
It was an accident, but it's here. I'm here now. So I think, this is one of the first podcasts I've done. I've done, some spiritual stuff before. But now I'm starting to feel a little bit legit now. I'm Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I'm happy to kick off the potential new round of business podcasts you might do now as a result. So, Leonie, thank you for coming on and sharing your very open and very personality-driven business, which I think comes through so clearly in this podcast. I think the one big takeaway I think to give to the listener is if a person like Leonie can be herself, and that actually is a distinct advantage to build a successful business, then anyone can do the same with their personality as well. So, be yourself is by far the biggest takeaway.
Thanks, Yaro. I can't wait to meet you and give you an awkwardly long hug in person.
yeah, and you're going to stare at my face and say vagina, aren't you? I know it. So
like right in your eyes. And you'll be like, oh, God.
Awkward. Leonie, thank you. Hopefully I will see you soon.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm giving you like the heart symbol like Ellen does on her show. Like, thank you. Like, I'm so appreciative. And you guys fucking rock. And you rock. And like, I'm so #fangirling right now.
Okay. Thanks, Leonie. And for all the listeners, if you want to grab the notes to go along with this episode or any of the other podcasts I've done, you can go to entrepreneurs-journey.com or Google my name, Yaro, Yaro, and you'll find everything there. Thanks, Leonie. Thank you to everyone listening in, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.